think it's too gruff for the world that we're living in. Trump issues new sanctions over Iran missile test. On the face of it, it makes sense to constrain Iran. Iran is a rogue nation. Religious fanatics who will destroy the world if they're not stopped are dangerous. Now, why would he have to make this so public again? Tell me why he has to make it so public. Why does he have to be so pugilistic about everything he does? But why can't, now that he won, be quiet, step back, stop with the tweeting, conduct himself firmly in the background, behind closed doors? Why must he show everyone how tough he is? That's starting to bother me. I don't like the macho approach in a president. I don't care whether they're left or right. I don't like it. It may have worked on the campaign trail. It doesn't work in the real world because there are other macho men out there. And if they pick up your challenge and you back off, tell me how that's going to look. Let's see. Drew a line in the sand with China over the South China Sea. Drew a line in the sand with Mexico over the wall and paying for it. Drew a line in the sand with Iran. I'm not the only one who sees this, by the way. Pat Buchanan, who's a brilliant man, said the same thing. How many lines can he draw in the sand until someone challenges him and crosses that line? And then what he's going to do? What's he going to do? Be out of another Obama? I am sorry. This is called constructive criticism. This is something he's not going to hear either from the barfly or from the bar fighter. But he's hearing it from the man who helped get him elected. Donald Trump, we love you. But you better start listening to your friends, not those in it for themselves. Everyone is talking about the article that was linked up on the top of Drudge since last night because it was taken directly from my show yesterday. And I kind of walked into it. I walked into the minefield. Luckily, I came out somewhat unscathed. I mean, the mines went off around me, but none of them were fatal. And that was showing that I'm not a sycophant to the Trump team. And I call them like I see them. And I've had enough of the grandstander, to be honest with you. I've had enough of it. I think that she's going to destroy him if he doesn't rein her in. Why is she on every show 24/7? Why does she go on Chris Matthews and make an idiot out of herself with the Bowling Green massacre story? Right after I said this, the next day, Bowling Green massacre, which didn't occur. Bowling Green terrorism. Okay, so she made a mistake. The point is that there's no necessity for Trump to be out in the media every day 24/7. There is absolutely no need for it. Moreover, I'll tell you something else. There's no need to smash China in the face, as he did with Taiwan. There is no need to smash Mexico in the face, as he did with Mexico. Of course, some of us like these policies. But it's one thing to be brazen about your policy positions and get your policy positions functioning. Where are the significant old guard men in advising Trump? Why is he using a barfly out front? This is the issue. Why can't he use someone with class to represent the Trump administration was my main point. The point is that there's a difference between being in your face when you're running for office and being in the face of the world when you're running the country. It sounds good. It makes us happy. It gives us the red meat that we all want, so we think. But remember that little old phrase called unintended consequences. Remember what I said to you last week. I'll say it again about Mexico. I said, why does he have to be so confrontational about Mexico? Of course we want the wall built. There's a quiet way. There's a diplomatic way. There's an intelligent way. There's a presidential way to do it and get it done without smashing the Mexicans in the face. First of all, you're dealing with a very macho country. That's number one. That's one. And I said to you on this show that you're liable to have an unintended consequence if you keep this up with Mexico, which is you'll have China moving in. What would you do if you woke up next week and see China moved an aircraft carrier off the coast of Mexico since it's not our territory? What are you going to do then? No, what could you do then? Every day, some belligerent fool inside the Trump administration draws a line in the sand. Some pugilistic adventurer within the Trump administration draws a line in the sand, whether it's with Mexico, whether it's with China, now it's with Iran. You know, there's a limit to acting macho, and by the way, underneath the macho act, there's usually some great fears and great insecurity. We all know that from boyhood. And if we haven't learned that after boyhood, then we shouldn't be inside advising a president. Pugilism is wonderful in a ring, and it looks good on television in a script. It doesn't act very well on the world stage. It often results in disaster. And we don't need a disaster in the world right now. Sure, we want a war with Mexico. Sure, we want Iran constrained. Sure, we want fair trade policies with China. But smashing them in the face and challenging them like a bully with a chip on his shoulder is not necessarily going to get the job done. And I want to know where the serious men are. I want to know where they are. Where are the George Schultzes? Where are the James Bakers? Where are the people like Henry Kissinger, whether you like his policies or not? Where are they? They know how to do diplomacy. They know how to talk with these people in these other countries to get things done quietly and efficiently and get them done. But to have a barfly out there screaming every day like it's all about her. I think Trump did. Everything he did I like. Everything, thank God. The style is starting to get to me a little because I think it's too gruff for the world that we're living in. You say, well, we need gruff. I don't think we need gruff. A strong man doesn't have to act strong. A really tough man does not have to show you how tough he is to get things done. You just get it done in a quiet way. You apply pressure behind the scenes, but you don't humiliate people in public. You don't humiliate nations in public unless you want them to fight with you. Now, if you want them to fight with you, that's a good thing to do. Then maybe you can go to war with China. Maybe you can go to war with Mexico. You can have Viva Zapata again on the border. Maybe you want war with Iran, unleashing a wave of missile attacks. What do you do, sit here and cheer? Hey, go Donald! Whoa! Love it! Love it! Love it! I like his policies. I don't like the style. It's too pugilistic, and I think it's because he's being led by people who don't understand nuance or policy at all. You say, well, how do I know these things? Because I'm on the radio doesn't mean that's the only thing I am. I also live in another world, or several other worlds. I get things done in worlds that I never talk about, and it has to be done quietly and with negotiations, which require a lot of skill and a lot of patience. You can't just bully people into what you want. As much as we would like to get things done our way when we want them, that is not the way business works. It's not the way the world works. It may have worked when you're building a hotel or you're building a gambling casino. It doesn't work when you're dealing with China or Mexico or Iran for that matter. That is what I'm trying to say to you. No one is saying that to him because everyone's afraid to say a word to Donald Trump for fear that he will be unhappy with them. That's a dangerous thing. Now, I know many of you don't like hearing this. You want me to sit here like a cheerleader, licking his boots, day and night saying, go, Donald, you're great, because you're still thinking like a child. Either you're with them or you're against them. That is wrong. That is 100% wrong. He's being steered too quickly in the wrong directions. That's why I wrote the article. WorldNet Daily wrote it. It was on WorldNet Daily. Then the Drudge Report posted it. And people are talking about it. Do you think I'm making friends with it? Do you think I wrote it to make friends? Do you think I'm stupid? You think this is going to ingratiate me with anyone in the Trump inner camp? Do you think I think that as a result of this, they're going to invite me to the Russian state dinner? I don't think so. Why am I doing it then? Why? I'm talking with you the same way I spoke with you for the whole year that I supported Donald Trump. As plainly as I can. As directly as I can. And I think that our president, who we put in office, needs to go a little more slowly and a little more quietly. It's that simple. And I believe that the people near him need to be put into the background. And some, let us say, more deliberate people put in the foreground. That's it. I've said enough on it.
Yesterday, you were going on about Yemen and how, this is all going wrong under Trump and Kellyanne Conway. And I understand you feeling a little personally shunned by, once he got in office, maybe the inauguration invite or whatever it may be. I get it. But I think that you're being a little too harsh. And a lot of people that, are on the Breitbart comment boards and different things have been saying, Michael is really going after Trump. And with all the leftist...
But let's slow down. First of all, let's clear the air. Breitbart's never been a fan of Michael Savage. Breitbart is run by Steve Bannon, who is inside the White House. Steve Bannon has always been jealous of Michael Savage. Steve Bannon tried a radio show that failed on Sirius XM. So let's get things in order. That's number one. Nobody on Breitbart likes me because I'm a competitor of theirs and I'm far more talented than any one of those people who tried radio. And that's, by the way, with due respect for those who write great columns for him. So please don't quote my enemy or my competitor and tell me that what they're saying is the truth.
Well, Michael, Alex Marlow praises you literally on a weekly.
Right, I love Alex Marlow. I love him.
So I mean, they don't hate you necessarily. But
I understand, but who pays Alex Marlow? Who pays Alex Marlow's bills?
I don't know if Bannon's really involved with Breitbart right now.
Oh, you don't know? Well, you don't know. Why? Did he disconnect from Breitbart? Did he break all ties with Breitbart?
I would imagine he has a pretty...
I think it's quite odd, by the way, that Breitbart News is now running America. I think it's quite odd.
Well, wouldn't you rather Breitbart News be running America than, say, the New York Times running America? Or?
I don't want any news running America. I don't want any news organization running America. All journalism is biased. All websites are biased. All of them are tabloid websites. I don't want any tabloid website running the country. I mean, if you're seeking a hot headline, you'll plunge into China. If you need another headline, you'll say, we're throwing all the Muslims out. I mean, if you want headlines, it's very easy to do. It doesn't make for good diplomacy, nor good policy.
Well, Mick, isn't it time for a little swing in our direction after what's been going on?
Okay, I understand the sentiment, but you didn't hear me when I said this, and I'll say it again. There's a way to achieve your ends. There's a way to get elected, but you stop pretending, you stop running for office when you're president. You stop tweeting at 3 o'clock in the morning, and you stop threatening countries when you're president. How long can this go on until a disaster occurs? And I think that our president, who we put in office, needs to go a little more slowly and a little more quietly. It's that simple. And I believe that the people near him need to be put into the background, and some, let us say, more deliberate people put in the foreground. That's it. I've said enough on it.